All right, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you with us today on today's Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. So, like our culture has been, we'll start with a brief presentation on the topic for the week, after which we give room for everyone to share their knowledge and experience on the topic. So today we are discussing the International Day of Clean Energy, the role of HSE professionals or practitioners in achieving this target of clean energy. So what are those things that are expected of us, the health and safety professionals? So we start from talking about this celebration. How does it come about? The Day for Clean Energy, or International Day of Clean Energy, is celebrated every 26th of January each year. And the major reason, or the aim, is to create awareness of clean energy in homes. So as health and safety professionals, we need to be aware of this particular celebration, not just being aware of it, but contribute our part, give our little effort in propagating this awareness, in increasing the awareness in our own little way, especially in our workplace or within our forum, like what we are doing now. Many people or some people might not be aware that there's a celebration that happened on 26th of January. So next year, 26th, the same celebration will happen again. So as health and safety professionals, it's part of our duty to know what is going on in the field globally and how we can contribute our part, or what we are supposed to do to ensure that global expectation is achieved. So why do we celebrate this day? It started in 2023. It was declared International Day of Clean Energy to be celebrated on 26th of January in 2003. 26th of January is also a day that is used to mark International Renewable Energy Agency Day. So it came in place in 2009. Okay, so the General Assembly declared it under the resolution A77327. And the major aim is to raise awareness and to mobilize actions for all the countries who are signatory to this agreement, to ensure that clean energy is propagated in all parts of the world, or in every country. Now, why do we celebrate this? What is the major reasons? The reason is, one, to ensure that we start combating climate change. Okay, so climate change, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, say that burning of fossil fuels is the primary contributor to climate change. So that is why the initiation of clean energy came into place. Another reason is to promote energy security and access. We find out that there are many countries who rely on importation of fossil fuels. But if clean energy is encouraged, or if they are empowered and they are taught on how to generate their own clean renewable energy, then the reliance on importation of fossil fuels will be reduced. So that is one of the reasons why Clean Energy Day is being celebrated, so that as we propagate this message, people will start looking inwards and start generating their own energy, which will reduce the reliance on importation of fossil fuels. It also, for us to improve public health, because we know, according to WHO, that air pollution contributes to about 4.2 million premature deaths annually. So because of the combustion of fossil fuels, because of the air pollutions, there are many lives that are being taken annually. So if clean energy is achieved all over the world, then this mortality rate will also reduce. Also is to eliminate energy poverty. Energy poverty simply refers to that phenomenon where some people have no access to energy. They have no access to electricity. So, but if clean energy is encouraged, if people embrace this clean energy, then there will be nothing like energy poverty, because you can be able to generate the energy within your self, knowing that you don't need to rely on the government, or you don't need to wait for importation of fossil fuels. Then clean energy poverty will be eliminated. Another reason for this celebration is to encourage international collaborations. Since the signing of this agreement by UN Climate Change Committee, many countries were part of this agreement, and this has fostered international collaboration, in the sense that all the countries that came together to sign this agreement has, in one way or the other, started implementing the renewable energy campaign or clean energy campaign. So there is international collaboration going on. So what do we mean by clean energy? Clean energy refers to the type of energy that is produced using technological means that has minimal impact on the environment. So the means of generating energy without impacting the environment is what we are referring by clean energy. And we'll be looking at some of them, some examples of the clean energy. One is solar energy. Solar energy refers to that type of energy that will generate through the sunlight power using solar panels. And when the sun hits on these solar panels, it converts the sunlight into electricity without emitting any pollution. So unlike fossil fuels, that when the combustion process takes place, there is emission of carbon monoxide into the environment. So if energy is generated from solar, there is no pollution. So that is why it's referred as one of the clean energy sources. Another reason is that it's renewable, in the sense that as far as the earth remains, the sun keeps shining. So it doesn't run off. It doesn't finish. So it's renewable. That is also one of the reasons why it's referred to as clean energy. Another example of clean energy is wind power. So this is a type of energy that is generated by wind, using wind turbines to generate electricity. Like, we also know that wind is natural, so it's something that continues. There is a particular place where there is high wind. So in order to use it to generate energy, you install wind turbines that, as these turbines are rolling, propagated by the wind, then electricity is generated. So there is no emission of pollutants into the environment. Another example of a clean energy is known as hydropower. Hydropower refers to that type of energy that is generated by water. The principle involves moving the water to run at a very high speed. And in that process, it generates electricity. It powers the turbine that helps in generating the electricity. So this is another form of clean energy. There is no pollution into the environment, and it's renewable, in the sense that the water returns to its source and runs back again. So the energy continues. There's no pollution into the environment. Another type of this energy source that can be referred to as clean energy is the geothermal energy. Geothermal energy involves the release of the energy from the earth crust. Under the earth, the energy that has been accumulated either by radioactive decay or by the heat under the earth. So if this energy is harnessed, it's referred to as geothermal energy. There is no pollution coming from it. So it's also part of the clean energy sources. So having thought about those clean energy sources, let's now bring it home to health and safety professionals. What are the things that we can do, or what are those things that is expected of us to contribute in our own way to ensure that this campaign reaches our workers or our workplace? The first one is to organize workshops or trainings, just like we are doing now. Let them know that there is an agreement, or there is an acronym going on known as clean energy, which refers to as having energy source from those sources that does not pollute the environment. So letting them also know that there is a celebration that happens every 26th of January to mark this agreement and to ensure that it remains fresh in our memory and we're able to practice it also. So we can also create posters, infographics, put in our HSC notice boards to propagate this information. We can share some success stories. If your organization or your company has implemented some clean energy initiatives, you share it with the workers, you share it with the people who are listening, so that they will know that this is how it's supposed to be done. For example, in my organization, we implemented some clean energy initiative by putting up to 20% of our vehicle as electric vehicles. So this helps to reduce the emission we produce into the environment. So this type of success stories, when shared with the larger audience, they get motivated and they can also start initiating such initiatives in their workplace. Another thing we can do as HSC professionals is to run internal clean energy quiz, encourage participants, ask questions, what they understand by clean energy, the types of energy sources that could be clean energy. When you run this type, you motivate people to get interested in that topic. And when they get interested in the topic, they can research more, they can read more, they can then know what clean energy is talking about. So organizing this internal quiz can help to push the message closer to the people. That is part of the roles that HSC professionals can play. Renewable energy demonstration is another role that we can play. Trying to collaborate with organizations or maybe companies that have initiative or that has products that are already working towards having clean energy. Let them demonstrate it to the workers. Let people see it, how it functions. For instance, there are some lamps that are solar-powered lamps instead of using fossil fuel or instead of using battery. So this type of solar-powered lamps, you can demonstrate it and they see how these clean energy sources can be, that it can be as good as those other energy sources that we have already. Another initiative we can do is building practice, ensuring that during the construction that the building materials or the building tools are in line with renewable energy sources. Employee engagement and recognition. You can initiate some recognition practice, maybe safety award or anything you can call it, encouraging people who has gone beyond their capacity to implement clean energy initiatives. We can also implement waste reduction initiative, like reduction of printing papers. You can implement maybe e-signing of documents so that printing of documents is reduced. You can initiate documentations on drives instead of having printed paper. So reduction of waste is another initiative that HSC professionals can implement to encourage the clean energy campaign that is being propagated. Another thing that we can do is to advocate for clean energy policies. We can encourage the management to create policies that inculcate clean energy, policies that state what people can do and what they cannot do in order to encourage clean energy. For instance, we can implement policy that you must print your document front and back. So this will indirectly reduce the number of pages that you are going to print. So putting in place this type of policies will help to encourage clean energy in the workplace. And it's part of our duty as HSE professionals to advocate for these things. The management, they might not be looking at it in these directions, but part of our job is to look at what is feasible and advise. Community outreach programs is also part of what we can do. Just like we are doing now, we can decide to go into the community. You can decide to go into schools. We can decide to go into organizations. We can decide to have forums, have physical meetings where we campaign for clean energy, where we encourage people to integrate clean energy sources in their daily use. Okay, regular environmental impact assessment. As HSE professionals, we are encouraged, or we are supposed to conduct regular environmental impact assessment, knowing how much waste we generate, how much pollution will contribute to the environment, what is our organization's carbon footprint. So after doing this impact assessment, then we can recommend measures to reduce our carbon footprint of the organization. Another thing we can do is integrating smart technologies. For instance, optimizing energy in your organization. Like you can have a sensor light, you can have a sensor switches. For example, in the office, when nobody is there, the light automatically goes off. When somebody comes in, then it can come in by detecting the presence of a person. So that is smart technologies. When nobody is there, the light will automatically go off, thereby reducing the energy waste. Okay, so these smart technologies, we can recommend this. We can include it as part of ways to encourage clean energy in our organization. Then promoting sustainable transportation. We encourage the organization to go into hybrid vehicles or maybe electric vehicles, or we can also encourage the workers to use bicycles. We can also encourage them to use public transport instead of each of the employees coming by private cars, which everybody is using fossil fuels, petrols. Though if we come by public bus, then we are reducing our organization footprint. Or we can decide to have a company bus that will convey workers from their place to the office instead of each person coming with their cars. So this is a part of sustainable transport, which will help the organization to reduce their carbon footprint. And these are part of what we can promote or what we can encourage as health and safety professionals. So we have a lot to do, and we have a lot that we can think of. But what matters is the willingness and the eagerness to implement them or to take the action. Because almost everyone knows what to do to save the planet, or everyone is also aware that there is climate change. Everyone is aware that there is a lot of effect of climate change. We've discussed about climate change here before, but nobody is taking serious action. For instance, it has been proven that waterproofs takes a lot of time to decompose. But we keep using it. They have been preaching reuse items. They have been preaching, instead of using drinking from disposable cups or from disposable water bottles, that we can have our own reusable water bottles. But these are all what we know, but it's difficult for people to implement it. But as health and safety professionals, our job is to keep preaching. Our job is to keep encouraging and keep doing our best. So that is where I will draw the curtain, and I will give room for others to share their thoughts on the topic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. I will just be brief because I'll be leaving in a short time. I have an induction to attend. In fact, you've made justice to the topic. Okay, you've really given us all the insight, all the things we need to know, and it's quite informative. And to an extent, these are things that we all are familiar with. Because when you talk about clean energy, you're talking about sustainability, you're talking about climate change and all that. All these are very, very important because the world today is either you hear climate change, is either you hear sustainability. So all encompasses, are just branches of all these things we've been preaching and talking about today. Now, I think I would like to add one point into the into the clean energy source. I think biofuel should be part of it. Fuel generated from the biological source. Maybe from plants and stuff like that, because such processes are not harmful to the environment either. So, because just like the way we generate fuel to run some stuff, maybe generator and all that, so you can see the same when you go through biofuel, the process is not like the way you generate gas that is used to power electricity. So today, why most people going into the solar panel is because when you look at the process of even providing the electricity in most countries, especially in the rural, especially in Africa, you discover that a lot of fossils are being burnt, flaring, gas flaring and all that. So all these things contribute to a large chunk of CO2 carbon footprint within such part of the world, which are part of what is causing the global climate change issue. So, like you mentioned a lot of stuff we need to know. And most importantly, in some part of in fact, when I went to the UK, when I was traveling from this popular airport down to Ayo's head office at, for about 5 hours, you see a lot of left and right, you'll be seeing a lot of this wind turbine, it's common, but I'm not sure if I've seen such in my country. Even I've not seen such here in Qatar, but these are the things. And, a lot of effort need to be put in place, because I have some time that Qatar is also building the largest plant of, I think, solar panel, that they will generate electricity through solar panel to even supply countries that are in need. So these are kind of initiative. I know Qatar is on the world map of this sustainability. They've really invested in it, and we must really appreciate them. Look at the public transport. There is no country in the world that has the number of public transport powered by electric. So all these things are initiative, are effort, which when we talk about from the organization level, country level, we need to start even from our home. The way we do and use things, when everybody continue to contribute like that, it form a chain, and we'll see a kind of ripple positive effect to the society. Especially in the buildings, in more technological building they are doing these days, you find out that they're encouraging people to use sustainable materials. I was watching a video today, just coincided to this topic. I found out that when they are the facade of the building they use a kind of sustainable material. Even the fence of the building was a solar panel. But though this cannot happen in Africa because of security reasons, but in a developed society, a country where security is tight, what is wrong for you to use if you see the solar panels as thick as normal block, the concrete block, the block they use in building fence, and build house. So they just install it all around the fence. And this solar panel fence is even generating electricity to supply this building or the apartment in that particular estate, which is this innovation are things that people need to embrace in terms of construction and all that. So at least if everybody continue to advocate, advise, encourage, I think we'll have a better and sustainable world for us all to live. I think that's what I'd like to say. And I'll be running away. You guys should pardon me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Stephen. Thank you for that wonderful contribution. All right, so the floor is open. If anyone else has a contribution to make, just go ahead. Go ahead. Who is showing his finger? I cannot hear you. You are still on mute.
Hello, Mr. Obina. Good afternoon.
All right. Good afternoon.
Yes. What a nice topic has been treated this afternoon. It's a welcome one, mostly at this time. Actually, I really don't have much to say, but I will say you guys have really done justice to the topic of discussion, and I really want to appreciate you on this. Yes, really, if not for the fact that nature has a way of renewing itself, this way of nature trying to balance itself, I believe human life, human existence would have been extinct by now, because the fact that human activities have really introduced hazards, have really introduced many pollutants into the earth. So really, climate change is real. You see, greenhouse gas emission is real. So in the part of the world where I come from, I would say if Nigeria were really a developed country where you see we have many industries, we have industries that into the development of uranium and the rest that can really generate serious waste, I believe they would be very, very concerned with this part of safety and protection of the environment. I know that in civilized parts of the world, they do buy carbon credits, and but in this part of the world, Nigeria, you have nothing of such. So really, it's climate change is real, and protection of the environment is the way to go, because if we don't do that, if we don't protect the environment, then the time will come, the resources that emanate from the environment, we can no longer use them. So that's it. So thank you for this topic. I really appreciate it. Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you, Omajede. Thank you for always attending, and thank you for your wonderful contribution. All right. In the absence of further contributions, we'll call it a day. It's been a pleasure having all of us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wonderful contribution. So next week, we'll meet again. Do have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. All right, bye.